I'm introducing the Comica Vimo-Q, a compact wireless microphone system with 4 transmitters and 4 microphones that are built in. So each of the transmitters that you get, and you get 4 of them in here, each of the transmitters has a built-in microphone. There's no need for a lapel, but you can use a lapel. It still has a microphone input here, and as soon as you plug in a microphone, it disables the internal microphone. I'm actually wearing the microphone 2 different ways right now. So I have one that's clipped to my shirt here, and then I have another one that's clipped to my belt, but I'm using a lapel microphone that I've attached. Now, the Comica Vimo-Q does not come with any lapel microphones. You'd have to get those separately or use it from another kit. I just happen to have them. A great thing with the receiver is that it can output one of 2 ways. You can either use the built-in standard 3.5 millimeter output to go to your camera, smartphone, or even a computer, or you can use the USB-C output and have it digitally output to either a smartphone or a computer. So it actually has 3 output modes. Mono, which means that all of the tracks, whether you're using 1 microphone or 4, are all going to go into 1 channel. There's no separation. Then you have stereo, which is pretty standard, means that all of the tracks are going to put onto a left channel and a right channel. And that's regardless of whether you use 2 microphones or 4. But there is a third mode that's unique to this system called quad mode. And what quad mode does is it takes, if you're using all 4 microphones, it's going to take all 4 of those and discretely send them out to a left and right track on output 1 and a left and right track on output 2. So there's actually 2 sets of 3.5 millimeter outputs. One is for the standard stereo output. The other is for just headphone monitoring. Or if you're in quad mode, you can use them simultaneously as separate left and right tracks. Why is that even a good thing? Let's say you're doing a podcast and you want to have all 4 of those microphones separate because you want to be able to adjust those based on whether someone's louder or softer. That's the first thing. A second way, perhaps, is if you're recording into, let's say, a camera and you were doing an interview with 4 people, you would want to have all 4 of those for the same reason so you can adjust those levels independently. That's just a quick overview of the Comica Vimo-Q. Now I'm going to go over some of the things I like about it, some of the things I don't like about it, and then just kind of the general overview. First up, the compact case. It's really compact. It's really light. When I add this in with all of the microphones and the receiver into my kit, you don't even notice a difference to it. Also, one thing that's really clever is so first of all, this case also operates as the charging case for everything. So you don't have to charge the microphones individually, and they're all magnetic. So they all have a little magnetic kind of attachment. And then there's a USB-C port here that you plug 1 cable into, and it's going to charge the receiver and the 4 mic transmitters. And then there's a little indicator here that will tell you the battery level of this case. So not only do you charge all the devices through the case itself has a built-in battery and will charge it for you. Also, the functions of the receiver are really simple to use. And if you need to, you can flip the screen orientation pretty easily. So depending on how you're mounting it to your camera setup, you can flip it so that it's normal, or you can flip it upside down if you need to mount the receiver that way. Another great thing is that right out of the box, the microphones are already paired to the receiver, so there's no pairing involved. Literally, from the moment you get this out of the box and out of the packaging, you can take the receiver out, take out a microphone, and they're paired, they're ready to go. So there's a built-in denoise function on the microphone, which I thought was kind of interesting. And another great thing about this, again, is that it will connect via USB-C, which I think is great because a lot of times I don't have the little adapter around me to connect to the lightning port on my iPhone, but I do have a USB-C to lightning cable almost everywhere I go. So I think that's a huge benefit here, is that if you want to be able to just record to your smartphone, there really isn't a whole lot of extra adapters that you have to carry around. If you just have your regular charging cable, you're probably good to go. Now, a few things that I definitely do not like. First of all, on the receiver, there's no volume control of any kind, output or input. You'll first need to take the microphone transmitters and adjust the volume on the microphone itself. You'll see the microphone volume on the receiver, but there's no way to change the microphone volume. That's probably the single biggest dislike it's not a deal breaker for me. It definitely would be nice to just have an extra button included on there where you can change the individual ones. Most microphone receivers have that, especially when they're dual microphones. So the stereo mode is confusing with what microphones are connected on stereo mode. I just had to learn this one from trial and error. And I've actually gone ahead and labeled them A, B, C, and D. On the receiver, they're listed as A, B, C, and D. And so to make it easy, I just took a Sharpie and I wrote A, B, C, D on them, and then I put them in alphabetical order back in the case. And what I found is that channels A and C are linked to the left side, and channels B and D are linked to the right side. That's why I labeled mine alphabetically, because if I do need to have left and right separation, I know to just grab A and B basically, or C and D for that matter too. But if I just have A and B, that's gonna be the left and the right. Just another little quirk about the receiver is that there's no output control either. So if you have it connected to like your camera, you only have the microphone gains to worry about, and then the camera input level. There's no output level adjustment on the microphone receiver. Not a huge deal, but it's just something that would have been nice to include. And those are really the only things that I dislike about it. I mean, for the most part, there are far more things that I like about it than I dislike. And I wouldn't even say that the dislikes are a critical deal breaker for me. Overall, I think this is a great addition for any videographer to have in their kit bag. Even if you just have it as a backup with your other fancier wireless microphones that you might have, or your shotguns and your XLR microphones, it's a great little backup to have. It's a great backup if you want to record scratch audio. It's definitely perfect for content creators. So if you're a content creator and sometimes you've had maybe like a third person involved somewhere and they don't have a mic, or someone has to share the mic, I've definitely been in that situation before. You can easily give 3 mics to someone and it's not a problem, and you can have up to 4 people. Perfect for content creators. And while it does lack some advanced features like the ability to adjust the volume on the receiver, it makes up for it in its simplicity, and it's basically just ready to go. So as soon as you open it out of the box, plug your cable in, take the receiver out, take the microphone out, it's ready to go. And it sounds pretty good right out of the box without having to do any finagling of the volume adjustments. The Comica Vimo-Q, you just turn it on and it's ready to go. Highly recommend this. So this Vimo-Q was sent to me by Comica to review, and this is the first time that they're seeing the video, just like this is the first time you're seeing the video. So I've used this now for a couple of weeks. I'm really loving it.